Miss Alison Sosebee.
I am so excited to be here. I absolutely love this, looking at a sea of green. I was laughing earlier because I'm in 3 counties. So my job is I am district attorney for Fannin, Gilmer, and Pickens counties. And so you guys are playing White County tonight. I live in Fannin. We're playing Gilmer. So thank you. As a joke, for our Gilmer County Sheriff, I have instructed my entire staff to wear blue just to show school spirit. So, why I'm here? Weapons of mass destruction, the dangers of social media, cell phones, and technology for all of you guys. So, pretty soon you guys are going to be graduating, becoming seniors, legally becoming adults. You start playing an entirely new ball game when you reach the age of majority at 18, but the fact of the matter is, and what you guys might not realize, is the repercussions you're looking at right now for the acts that you're taking. So, I'll tell you a little story, and it happened probably at this point about 6 months ago. What I do in my job is when we get a warrant for arrest, when we get an incident report, when we get a citation, it goes from law enforcement. Law enforcement being the Sheriff's Department, the Police Department, the GBI, DNR. They send it to us and they say, we want you to prosecute this case. And at that point in time, we evaluate the case. We decide what we're going to do with it. We look at it and we say, okay, well, we think this is a probation case. We think this is pretrial diversion. We think these people need to go to prison. So I'm sitting there one night, it was a Monday night, I remember, because it's when I had a breakdown, and I'm getting ready to go try a case the next day. Looking through the file, I open it up. I have looked in this file at least 10 times before, but I'm trying it and I want to be ready. And inside it are a series of pictures that a girl sent to a boy, and they are all inappropriate, nude photographs. And I realized as I sit on my couch at 9:30 at night after I have put my 2 kids to bed that if I have to look at a set of pictures like this one more time, I am going to take a high leap off of a short bridge. And I will tell you, it was at that point in time I realized we had a pretty big problem that was going on with people who are in school, middle school, high school, that where these pictures, these messages are being sent. When they're being sent, the person sending them really has no concept of the fact that they're going to be shared, and I'm fairly certain that the little girl whose photographs I was looking at did not realize that the entire Sheriff's Department, my staff, and myself, and then subsequently the next day, the judge, jury, and everyone who happened to be assembled in the courtroom was going to be looking at them as well. So I picked up the phone at that point and I called all 3 Superior Court judges, all 3 sheriffs in 3 counties, and I said, we need to do something. So we all sat down together a little bit later, we roundtabled it, talking about what we needed to do. We needed to get out there, we needed to get into the schools, and we needed to explain to you guys not just the legal consequences of what was occurring in this type of behavior, but also the social and practical consequences, because you're sending this stuff out because, you know, you're young and you're in love and you're going to be with that person forever and ever and ever, and you never think that they're going to pass it on. Well, statistics show that over 50% of people who have received these messages have forwarded them on. If I had my guess, I'd actually say that statistic's just a little bit low. And I started thinking about this, and I'm like, why is this happening now? I mean, is this just some great new occurrence? And it finally dawned on me that you guys are actually holding weapons of mass destruction in your hands every day. I.e., your cell phones, your tablets, your laptops, because you are connecting yourself to the entire world. So what I started thinking about, well, how is it that everybody had the ability to communicate before? I mean, how is it that this evolved over time? I saw this picture. It says, yeah, great, let's go, great hunt, let's go eat. Hang on, I got a post on my wall. Well, you know what, early Facebook posts? When you look back over the period of time, how many people would have actually seen that? 2, 3, 4, 5? You start progressing through time. I remember when I was growing up, my kids call this, I have an antique phone hanging in my kitchen. It's really for show. They look at it, they think that I'm older than dirt because it's actually the rotary dial, and they'll say, how old are you? And I say, you don't understand. That's what I talked on when I was a kid. I was on a corded telephone line with a rotary dial standing in my parents' kitchen trying to huddle down and have a conversation while my mom was cooking dinner because I didn't want her to hear everything that was being said. But the fact of the matter is even when I was in high school, you're limited to the people that you're talking to on the phone. You don't have the internet. It's who you know at school. It's who you know in your community. It's who you know in your church. You realize that when I got my first cell phone, I was in college. I thought I was the biggest, baddest thing going. And yes, that is a picture of my first cell phone. It comes in a bag. I know you're jealous. It did not do my ego a whole lot of good when I realized that I found this on vintagegear.com. So I drive to school. I go to the University of Georgia. It's where I did my undergrad, and it's where I went to law school. So I'd be driving from Blue Ridge. I'd be going to Athens. I could have a telephone conversation my mother wasn't listening in on, and I thought it was the best thing ever. But you know what? That thing didn't take pictures. It didn't connect to the internet. It didn't do any of that stuff. You guys have access to the entire world at your fingertips, but what is happening and what has been happening the entire time you guys have had access to this is you are creating your identities online. You are providing your information to countless individuals, and I will guarantee you don't even realize how many people have access to that information. So I started thinking about, how is it that you take an approach to this? How is it that you understand the danger of what you are gambling? So I want you guys to think in your heads, what is your most valued possession? What is the thing that you own that you think you are going to die if you do not have? I'm going to guess a lot of it's going to be cell phones. So, all right, 3, 2, 1, you have it. Now, I want you to think about the person that you trust the most. Who is your best friend? You can tell that person anything. You trust them. I see fingers pointing in the back. I hope these people have your back, because guys, here's what I want. Here is what I want you to do. That most valued possession that you have, I want you to put it in a box, and I want you to give it to your friends. To keep forever. Here's a very technical legal term, guys. There are no takesy-backsies. They got it, they keep it, you don't get it. Alright. Here's the deal. No matter what it is that you put in that box, it will never, ever be more important than your dignity. So, what is dignity? And I can define it for you very, very easily in terms of what the dictionary said. It is the state or quality of being worthy of honor or respect. You know, I'm standing over here, I'm watching all of you guys walk into this presentation, finding your seats, talking to your friends. And it's always interesting to me, because you can tell the people that feel like they have dignity. Because you walk in, your back's straight, your head's held high. Dignity is being able to sit where you want to at the game tonight, being able to hang out with your friends, and not feeling ashamed. But I want to tell you right now, once you lose your dignity, once you give your dignity away, you don't get it back. So, this story that I'm telling you about, with this pictures I'm looking at when I'm preparing to try this case, I'm just going to tell you right now, I had gone to court with this little girl who had taken photographs of herself and sent them to her boyfriend, who, being the kind, good, southerly gentleman that he was, only sent them to 5 of his best friends, who then, by the way, transmitted them to the entire school. She said, she comes in, I talk to her every single time she comes in court, she's crying. You know, honestly, it's not that I don't feel bad for her, but you get time 4 or 5 that starts to get old. I mean, it's not like we haven't been doing this several times. I finally pulled her aside the last time I looked at her, and I said, what's wrong today? I mean, you know what's going to happen. You're going to have to get up there. You're going to have to testify about what you did. Yes, everybody's going to see the pictures. This is nothing new to you. By the way, this is not a unique situation, because if this had only happened once, I probably wouldn't be standing here. This happens all the time. And she looks at me when I say to her, what's the problem? She said, you don't understand. She said, my daddy won't even look me in the eye anymore. Now, think about that. And she tells me that she loved him, that they were going to be together forever. Well, you know what? He got mad at her. They broke up. And all those 5 people he sent it to managed to disperse it throughout the entire school. And so the point being, and by the way, guys, if you think girls won't do the exact same thing to you, you are out of your mind. Let me tell you, you do not lose your dignity and your self-respect to make people love and appreciate you when they aren't capable. Here's the deal. How do you know if somebody's capable of loving you? They are not ever going to ask you to do something that will hurt you. You're not going to go up to some girl and say, hey, if you drink, a half a cup of gasoline, I might like you more and we can go out on Friday night. Right? That would be stupid. Well, let me tell y'all, equally stupid to that is, hey, if you send me some naked pictures of yourself, I might like you more and we can go out on Friday nights. And here's why. You know what? When you take that photograph, when you send that text message, when you IM it, Facebook it, Snapchat it, whatever it is that you are sending, you are handing that person your dignity. I can't be any more clear than that. I have had, and I'll tell y'all, I went through, of course, high school, 4 years of undergrad and college at UGA, law school, came out, had a career, several many years, had the privilege of having some wonderful, wonderful people in my life, great, great friends. There is not a point in time I can ever recall that my friends and I have not been upset with each other, even over if it is something small, at some time or another. So when you hand somebody your dignity, what's it going to take for them to decide to disseminate it? Your most valued possession you put in that box, let's say it was a cell phone. Your friend gets mad at you, what are they going to do if they get upset? They're going to destroy it. You hand over your dignity, they are going to shred it. So let's be honest. It is very, very easy to create and share personal photos of yourself. And really and truly, it's not that big of a deal until the information you start to share gets a little bit too personal and may have long-term consequences. And what I'm really referring to at this point in time is sexting, which is a really broad term, and I guess, legally defined as the sending or receiving of sexually explicit or suggestive text or messages, pictures, by electronic means. But the question you have to ask, guys, you send that first photo, there is no stop button. There is no delete button. How far does that message travel? To the person that you love forever and ever and ever and ever? Yeah. It doesn't run out of gas. And here's what we go to. No matter how you're sending it, that is where it ends. Well, actually, I have a question there. Why is Xbox down there? I'll tell you precisely why Xbox is down there. I've got 2 kids. They're 6 and 10 years old. They are. They've got tablets. They are begging for phones. I told them when they turn 32, I will get them their first cell phone. My 10-year-old negotiated with me the other day and got me down to 24. But as to the Xbox, he plays Xbox Live. He does. We have a rule. You don't play with anybody that I don't know who it is, and I don't know who their parents are, period. So I'll tell you the other day that I walked into the living room in my parents' house, in my house, and I hear this voice come through the TV, because I make them play the volume through the TV. I hear this voice come through the TV, and I hear, "Hi, my name's Nick, I live in Michigan. What's your name?" And as much as I would love to tell you that my 10-year-old son would have immediately disconnected, I'm fairly certain the only reason he didn't speak is because he felt me boring holes in the back of his head with my eyes, turns around, sees me, and immediately disconnects. And then he starts to argue his case with me and said, "But he's just a 10-year-old boy, Nick, from Michigan." I said, "You can't see him. You don't know who he is. You have no idea who you are talking to." So that's the point of the Xbox. But see, how this relates to you guys? There was a case recently that was found out. The individual was prosecuted. It all happened in a high school in another state. But what had occurred in this particular case is you had all these boys who were 13 and 14 years old, and they got a friend request on Facebook from this girl who said she was 18 in her picture. And I tell you, she was good looking. I mean, that picture, she was absolutely beautiful. And these boys are so incredibly flattered with themselves that this girl thinks that they're hot and she wants to date them and hook up. So, of course, they lie about their age. Well, I'm 16 or I'm 17. Well, then she wants to go out on a date. A little bit of a problem, since they can't drive a car. So they're sending back and forth. This one girl, unbeknownst to every boy, this one girl is Facebooking with all of these other boys, and they start exchanging messages. They start exchanging nude graphic pictures. It turns out that the individual that these boys were talking to was a 44-year-old male sex offender. It gets worse. It gets worse, and I'll tell you why. Because the 44-year-old male sex offender then had all of these boys' dignities that they had sent to him and all of the pictures and the text messages. He threatened to out them to their school and their friends and their entire community. And do you know that they ended up being victims of his? Because they were doing everything they could possibly do so that information couldn't get out. So, as to the Xbox and me not wanting my 10-year-old son to communicate with people that he doesn't know, I am going to warn you. You have no idea who is on the other side of that computer that you're communicating with. Alright, so why is this important? Every single time you go online, every account you create, every time you like something on YouTube you post, you are contributing to your digital footprint. So this is a trail left by you using the internet and other devices. And it provides a plethora of wonderful information about who you are. And the thing about the internet is it doesn't forget. It is there. And you say, oh, well, I use different screen names and I don't use my own names. You would be shocked at how much can be found out by tracing back on an IP address. Because I will guarantee you that when you are tracing it back on an IP address, you are continually using the same devices over and over and over, or you are connecting at the same locations. So just because you put Love Dragons Pickens Forever as your screen name, that does not mean you can't be found to your true identity. So one of the ways that you find out what your digital footprint or your electronic fingerprint is, Google yourself. You would be shocked at what you're going to see, and that's the easiest way to do it. So here's really where all of this is leading for you guys, because I got to tell you right now, you're standing on the edge. You are at a point where it is do or die. You are at a point where you're going to have to start making decisions for yourself, and you are at a point where when you start screwing up, it is situations that mom and daddy can't fix it. So, are you going to be on your way up? I love this quote. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. The places you will go, you are on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers. You soar to high heights. I remember sitting where you guys are. I do. I remember the feeling. I remember thinking there wasn't a single thing I couldn't do if I didn't put my mind to it. It was awesome. I mean, I will tell you guys, I am jealous of where you are in your lives, because you have your entire future in front of you if you don't manage to screw it up. So, here's the question. I'm assuming your future is going to hold somewhere of you're going to college or you are going to get a job, because unless we have any trust fund babies in here, those are going to be basically your two options. So let me tell you right now, you're competing for scholarships. You want a position in a school. Don't think they don't Google you. Don't think they don't check into who you are. You've got a limited number of spaces and a limited amount of money that's going to go around. I will tell you right now, they are checking to see if they are giving it to someone who is worthy to receive it. And it's not just the flowery language that you put down on the college applications, by the way, the great essays that you are writing for them. I went through the entire process. The difference between what you guys have to deal with and what I was dealing with, they didn't have Google back then. But because you guys are holding these teeny tiny weapons of mass destruction in your hands, they are Googling you now because they've got just as much access to you and what you're putting out there. Get a job. Other options instead of going to college. I have numerous employees that work for me in Fannin, Gilmer, and Pickens counties. I believe that we have 9 ADAs on staff. By the way, this is my chief of staff, Brian Stanford. He works in all 3 counties. He's here to help me today. So I will tell you, there's not a single person when I had my private law practice or since I've been district attorney that I have not Googled and checked into separate and apart from their applications, and I'll tell you why. If you're on Facebook or Instagram or Vine and you are a consummate gossip, I don't want you, because I don't want you to poison the pool. I don't want you to create drama in my office. If you are posting inappropriate pictures of yourself or inappropriate messages, I don't want you. If you are always posting something negative, I don't want you. I am always very, very careful about what I put out. I want it to be positive because I'm really kind of a positive person. But you have this thing in psychology called a frozen perception. Someone doesn't know you. They see that picture of you. They see that snapshot of you. They see that message that you post. That is the perception that they have of you. And you have to work to defeat that perception. That's what you're putting out there to the community. So my advice would be, unless you want your grandmother reading it, I wouldn't be posting it on social media. So think before you send or post pictures or other personal information. Every post is an electronic fingerprint that can not only affect college careers, employment opportunities, but it affects your reputation with your friends, families, and neighbors. The little girl that I told you about that was crying and crying and crying because she had sent this boy photographs and we were in court. Her grandmother lives with them. She goes to church in a small community. Every single person that she has personal contact in her life knows what she has done. And frankly, a lot of them have seen the photographs. So when you're sitting there and you're thinking, gosh, I really want this boy or I really want this girl to like me, it's not really worth your parents, your preacher, your teachers, your grandmother, and all your friends seeing what you're sending. Because understand, as much as that person is promising you they won't share it, over 50% of teenagers say that they have transmitted it on. But when you hand that person your dignity, which is what you are doing, when they get mad at you, and I don't care if it's as simple as not sitting next to them in the lunchroom, when they get mad at you, you can bet it's moving forward. So, here's the deal. Brace yourself, the embarrassing pictures from yesterday are coming. We just don't know when. So, life rules. I will tell you every time I go talk to a school, I've got 4 rules. 4. You follow these 4 rules. I know as charming as you guys find me to be today. You follow these 4 rules. You will not see me in a courtroom. I can assure you I am not charming there. Number 1, do not speed when you drive a car. Number 2, do not follow the car in front of you too closely. Number 3, do not text and drive. And number 4, don't be stupid. Now, I was listening to Coach Ford earlier, and he said that we needed to work on practice and stuff in unison. So on don't be stupid, I'm going to count to 3, and y'all give it back to me. 1, 2, 3. I think they got it down. I'm just saying. Alright. So here's your guidestone, guys. If you have to sneak to do it, lie to cover it up, delete it to avoid it being seen, then you probably shouldn't be doing it to begin with. So I am sure right now you are sitting here and you are going, how is she going to find out? She's not going to know what is on my cell phone. I will tell you, when I went to go talk at another high school a couple of years ago, I had given part of this presentation. And this little girl up front, after I was talking about cell phones, raises her hand and says, "You can't get in my phone because I have a password lock on it." To which I very probably not so politely informed her that might keep her parents out of it. It would not keep me out of her phone. So we have this wonderful thing called cell phone dump. That is not the cell phone dump. This is the cell phone dump. I love this resource. What we do is we take your phone, we take your tablet, we take your laptop, your electronic device, and we plug it into our equipment, special software developed, and create an exact mirror image of your hard drive. Now you understand all these little phones that you're carrying around basically operate as miniature computers, right? So when we create an exact mirror image of your hard drive, we not only access everything that's visible on your phone, we get all the hidden apps, we get all of the deleted information, all of the pictures you deleted, all the internet history you deleted because you didn't want your parents to see it or whoever might be looking at your phone, all of those text messages. I know your call logs, I know your internet history, I know every data exchange you've done, and the only way to prevent that from happening is you have to completely fill up all of the data on your phone and then have that information written over. Now, I got a 64 gig iPhone, right? I use that phone nonstop. I think literally I have over 5,000 pictures saved on my phone. I still have not hit the capacity for my data. So just because you delete it does not mean that it cannot be accessed. Well, and let's go back for just a second. So you're sitting there going, but how's she going to get my phone? I mean, how's she going to get my tablet? How's she going to get my laptop? Well, here's what happens. Inevitably, here is what happens. So let's say Mary Sue sends Bobby a picture of herself, and they date, and then Bobby gets mad at her. Frankly, Bobby's just real proud of himself, so he decides to forward this picture on to his friends. Here's the rule of thumb. On every one phone we receive to do a dump on, I get 5 additional phones off of that one for 5 people it's been transmitted to. So one phone goes to 5, then it goes to 25. It grows exponentially. All I need is one phone. So let's think about this. Let's say Mary Sue sends it to Bobby, Bobby sends it out to his friends, and then Mary Sue becomes aware that her picture is being passed around the entire school. You got Mary Sue's mama, and Mary Sue's mama is mad. She is hot. She comes in and she speaks to the school. Guess what? I've got the first phone I need. We track from there. So you're sitting there and you're going, okay, well, if they don't get a hold of the phones, I mean, what else can they get? Or the tablets, or the laptops. There is this absolute wonderful thing called data retention. I don't even need your electronic device to get information about you. Every single app, every single Twitter, Vine, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I hate Snapchat. Every single one of those you guys deal with, you'll understand why I say that in a second, because they sell y'all a false bill of goods. Every single one of these companies that you are dealing with, that you are using their servers, they have what's called a data retention policy, which means even though you might delete it from being visible off your account, you put something up, you decide that wasn't real smart, my grandmother's not going to like that when she sees it, I'm going to delete that. You put it up, you delete it, guess what? These companies have a data retention policy on average of 18 months. Which means when I send them a nice little letter that says, hi, my name's Alison Sosebee, and I would like everything you have on your server relating to IP address, or account number, or I just want everything you have listed in this person's name. They send me a nice disc back that has all your information on it. So, reason I hate Snapchat, what you guys might realize, number one, I do not know why on God's green earth that anyone would have to take a picture that is going to disappear in 10 seconds if you just simply don't want that to be seen, which is probably something you shouldn't be doing. But really, here's why I hate Snapchat. They tell y'all it disappears, that it goes into the ethersphere. It doesn't. They have a data retention policy too. When I was online looking, because I wanted to see their specific policy, I came across some really interesting statements that was on Snapchat's website. Quote, "It's not impossible to circumvent the Snapchat app and access files directly, adding that users should keep in mind data retention before putting any state secrets in your selfies." That is what we call in law enforcement a hint, okay? So then we have Snapchat's privacy policy. In addition, as for any other digital information, there may be ways to access snaps while in temporary storage on recipients' devices, i.e. a screenshot for one, I'll explain the other one in a second, or forensically, even if they are deleted, forensically being a cell phone dump. So Snapchat actually got sued last year, maybe year before last at this point, because their security was so bad, they had gotten hacked so many times. All of these people's information that they thought was private and was deleted, unknown amounts of people actually have that information now somewhere in the world. Could be here, it could be in Bangladesh. I don't know. They got sued and lost. The other thing that they lost on is because they said, well, it disappears into the ethersphere in 10 seconds and there's no way to retrieve it. And then you've got all these people that are taking screenshots when the snap's being sent. But then, it's supposed to give you an alarm, but when you have the new software updates that are occurring on your phone, it overrode the alarm. So you can have people that are taking screenshots of all these selfies you're sending and you're never even going to know it. Every time you take a picture with your phone, even if it's with a snap, you create a digital imprint. You receive that on your phone, even if you don't screenshot it, it creates a digital imprint, meaning I can retrieve that information. It's the same with every company. I'm picking on Snapchat, but that's the one that really seems to be the most popular. So talking about cell phones too. You know, cell phone companies have their own data retention policies. Look at this. For text message detail, if you're with Verizon, I get 1 year on you on text message detail. Let's think about that. I don't even need your phone. I once again write them a nice little letter that says, "Hi, my name is Alison Sosebee, I'm the district attorney." I get it. I get your call detail records. Look, if you are going up to AT&T, 5 to 7 years. So how many of you guys will be reading your text message detail for the last 5 to 7 years? I can get it. Now, let's think about this, because this is part of what I think you guys are being told that really isn't true. If you're a tech person, you have probably already saw this coming. Nothing is ever truly deleted on a server, and anyone who tells you otherwise is 100% wrong. So you're sitting there going, yeah, but that's law enforcement, and what if they don't get a hold of it? You know, well, let's talk about parents, because I'm going to tell y'all right now, it just takes that one parent. It's Mary Sue's mama. But the best part about this is, your parents have the capability to do many cell phone dumps. So we got Hyster Mobile. This is just one of the ones that I picked out, that they can basically create almost a mirror image of your hard drive. They download this software and they see everything that is on your phone. They can do live tracking. You understand, if they have this software, they can be looking through your phone right now and you wouldn't even know it. The best part about this is they can install it remotely and hide it as an app to run in your background. You would never know it's there. Some of the software I came across actually allows individuals to take control of a camera and to take a picture to ascertain your location. So you might want to be careful where you have that camera pointed, unless you want your mom and dad to see it, because they can be taking a live view through your camera as it is occurring. They get all your deleted information. And you sit there and go, but yeah, my parents aren't that tech savvy, right? All it takes is one parent checking their kids' phones and the dominoes start to fall. Same thing with my mobile watchdog. Understand that you have got geo-tracking location. They can pinpoint exactly where you are by latitude and longitude using these. And they're not cost prohibitive. This is for the low, low price of $4.95 a month. This is not something that costs hundreds or thousands of dollars. So this leads me into bullying. And this is nothing new for you guys. Frankly, it's been going on since the beginning of time. Bullying defined as aggression on a continual basis between peers where somebody has an advantage over another one. You got one person that's got a power advantage over somebody else and they decide to make their life a misery. That's bullying. That's what it is. What you guys have to contend with that we have not had to deal with before, you've got cyberbullying, which now means that you've got somebody that can bully you. And they can do it from the relative comfort of their own home. They can sit there and they can do it on their cell phone, laptop, tablet. And the thing is you don't know who all is seeing it. It's to teach somebody a lesson, play prank, share personal information. You know, as cowardly, frankly, as I find bullying to be anyway, cyberbullying is even worse. It takes it to a whole new level. And I was actually reading the news the other night and was so interested to read an article that I found with a little girl that was getting prosecuted. And she was getting prosecuted for negligent homicide. Caught my eye. Her boyfriend killed himself. When they started going through her boyfriend's cell phone, there were texts where she had encouraged him to do it. Now, I personally think that probably makes her a pretty bad human being. She has put herself in a position where she's going to be a convicted felon and go to prison. Because that is to the level that this is progressing. You may think your kids, you may think that there's a fix-it button that mom and dad can help you if the situation gets bad enough. These weapons of mass destruction you are holding in your hand do not have a fix-it button attached to it. You have been given a great deal of latitude, but with it comes responsibility. So that brings me to the story of Hope Witzel. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Hope. She was a middle school girl, 13 years old, went to middle school in Florida, comes from a good family, made good grades, had a lot of friends in school. Really, really, really liked this boy a lot. She really, really, really wanted this boy to like her. So he essentially says to her, send me some naked pictures of yourself and I might like you more. She really wanted him to like her, so she did it. Her picture goes through her entire school. Her picture hits the high school. This happened in the spring of the school year. She would walk down the hallway and you can imagine every single name she was getting called by almost the entire student body. It was awful. She said, you know what? I'm going to get through spring. I'm going to hit summer. Summer hits. Her parents, by the way, don't know any of this is happening because she is too embarrassed to tell them what she has done. Gets into summer and says, you know what, it's going to be a brand new school year. It's going to be so much better. So I'm going to start back to that same school. Comes fall, it is worse than it was in the spring. It was an absolute misery for her. Finally, she tells her mom and dad what she's done, but says that she's going to try to tough through it. She's going to be strong. A week later, her mother walks in to her bedroom one night to check on her, and it's kind of early, and she sees Hope laying in the bedroom floor. And she thinks at first that she might be asleep, but that Hope's head is kind of at an odd angle. And she realized that Hope has hung herself, and she is dead. So this is the story of Hope, told by her friends, told by her mother about what she had to experience.
In Florida. She took her own life after enduring months of painful taunts and teases over a partially nude photo she texted to a boy. Hope's death is just the second teen suicide in the nation that we know about that's linked to sexting-related bullying. We're going to talk to her mother in a moment, but first ABC's Michelle Kaczynski has the details, and we should warn you, the story does contain some coarse language. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning, there. It hits you out here. This is a middle school, and this was a child. There's times that she can no longer handle the bullying after having sexted another child. This is a 13-year-old who ended up hanging herself from her bed.
People that barely even knew her talked about her and laughed when she walked by.
They are 8th graders, and Hope Witzel was a good girl, they say, passionate mostly about farming, but also about a certain boy she liked. And Hope told them she had made a mistake, had sexted him, sent a topless picture of herself to his cell phone. A photo soon intercepted and forwarded to the masses in other schools. And then came the taunting, torturous crew that tested every fiber of this self-conscious middle schooler's being. She took the picture. These girls say Hope could not walk alone in the hallways, but the brutal name-calling, slut, and whore continued into the next school year.
We asked her if she wanted to switch schools, and she said, no, I'm going to show them that they can't get to me.
There were signs, though, that Hope blamed herself. The day before her death, a school counselor noticed cuts on her leg and had her sign a contract promising not to harm herself, information that never got to her parents. The following night, her mom went to tuck her in.
It was as if she was standing right there in front of me. And her head was hanging down. And I said, Hope, what do we do? And I realized there was a scar from her neck.
Earlier this year, Ohio high school senior Jessie Logan took her own life in the same way after sexted photos of her from an ex-boyfriend went viral. Polls have shown that about a fifth of U.S. teenagers have sent racy pictures of themselves, leading in many cases to an instant consequence, bullying.
More and more people hear about it, more and more people, like a target. More people throw it at you.
Feelings that Hope shared only with her diary.
Some of Hope's words were, please don't let them remember me by the mistakes that I made. Please, please make sure they remember me for who I was.
And you put a name on it, like sexting, that sounds almost like a game. But psychologists say kids at this age have no idea the consequences or how serious something like this could be. There have even been children arrested in this country for doing this because they don't realize that sending pictures like this could constitute disseminating child pornography.
Michelle Kaczynski, thank you. We should note that the St. Petersburg Times broke this story. Hope's mother, Donna Witzel, is with us exclusively along with internet safety expert Perry Aptab. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Donna, we are so sorry for your loss. Everything that I've heard and read about your daughter Hope, that suggests to me, tells me quite clearly that she's a great kid, good student, went to church with the family, had a lot of friends, all of the above. At 13 years old, had sexting ever been discussed between you and your daughter? Had the topic ever come up?
Sexing, the word, no, but, she absolutely knew, we don't have any pictures around in our house. It's not something that's approved of. No, as far as training them on the internet and what to look at and what not to look at, yes, yes, I talked about it.
And then, as it turned out, she did sext a boy that she liked, and this picture, as Michelle said, got disseminated throughout the school, middle and upper school. She suffered a lot of teasing. Did she tell you or your husband about the taunts?
Absolutely not through the most, only until the end. And it was actually only one episode, which was the Wednesday
before September 12th.
So in the spring, when it first started, she didn't tell you anything. The school actually alerted you. They found out about the picture. You did what you thought was the right thing. You punished your daughter. You took away her computer. You took away her phone for a while, practiced a bit of tough love. Did you think that would be the end of it then? That she would be okay?
Yeah. As far as, she received her punishment for her consequence for a mistake that she made. You set rules and boundaries in the household, and your child doesn't take out the trash, or breaks a rule. You ground them, you punish them, you let it go, you love them. You may talk with them. Something as serious as this, you don't let go. You continue to talk with them. You continue to try to keep that line of communication open. But most of all, you continue to love them. You don't shame them.
And yet this was eating away at her, Perry. And this is the second time we've heard of something like this, as Michelle pointed out. What is the message here?
Well, I think the message is this could happen to any kid. Good kids are the ones it's happening to. Jesse was a great kid, and that was about a year ago. And we have good kids, and they're the ones who are committing suicide when a picture like this gets out. More kids are doing it, any of us understand, far more than the 20% we're seeing. You're going to hear some new numbers about that tomorrow.
And there are no laws in regard to sexting at this point.
Well, the laws are, if you take it, if you send it, if you have it, it's child pornography, and you can go to jail as a registered sex offender.
We appreciate you sharing Hope's story with us. Hopefully other people will listen and pay attention. This is not child's play.
Well, you want to make sure Hope's never remembered for the act, but she's remembered for her heart.
Absolutely. Donna Ritzel, thank you again so much, and Perry Aftab as well. And we'll be right back.
Okay, so first off, and let me just say this, suicide's never the answer. This is a very, very permanent solution to a temporary problem. But I'm also going to tell you where this comes from. In reality, Hope should have never sent the picture that she sent, but I don't think Hope ever thought forward to what the consequences were going to be for doing it. One of the biggest things that I can say, I know I have made at least 52 mistakes from the time that I woke up this morning until I'm standing here right now. Nobody ever wants their mistakes to constantly be pointed out to them, because there is not a single person sitting here that hasn't screwed up at least as much as I have as you sit here this morning. And you need to keep that in mind when if you, or if some of your friends get information, pictures, whatever it is on somebody else, and decide that you think it's going to be funny to make their life a misery. So no matter how educated, talented, rich, or cool you believe yourself to be, how you treat people tells all. I can tell you in my entire time of going through school and going through life, I cannot tell you what the girl wore, and if it was a cute outfit that sat 3 rows in front of me in English class, or what the hot-looking boy wore, or what he did on Wednesday, August the 28th, or whenever it is. The point being, what I remember about the people I've interacted with in my life, how they treat people. Because that's what actually tells what kind of person you are. So I have talked all of this time, and me being district attorney, I haven't actually told you what the law says. 3 statutes you can violate by engaging in this type of behavior. First one being sexual exploitation of children. Let me give you guys a hint. This does not look good on a college application or a job resume. Any teenager in Georgia who creates or possesses a nude or sexually explicit image of himself or herself is guilty of a misdemeanor. That would be 12 months probation and or incarceration, up to $1,000 fine, plus all of the general and special conditions of probation. However, it's only a misdemeanor if the teen is at least 14. The person in possession of it is not older than 17, i.e. if you are 18, felony. The person depicted in the image consented to both its creation and its dissemination. Mary Sue sends that picture to Bobby. He forwards it to 5 of his friends. Guess what? She didn't consent to it being disseminated. I don't care how old they are. Felony. Okay? Now, let's look at the first line on this again. Any teenager in Georgia who creates or possesses. In this scenario, Mary Sue gets prosecuted as well. I will tell you that as badly as I would feel for Mary Sue, or frankly, if it is Bobby that took the picture and sent it to Mary Sue, and she sent it to 5 of her best friends, as bad as I feel for whoever took the picture and sent it to their significant other that they're going to love forever and ever and ever, you know what? They shouldn't have taken the picture to begin with. In my world, in my existence, in the laws of the state of Georgia, the person who takes it gets prosecuted as well. The person who disseminates it, or receives it, retains it, and keeps it, they will get prosecuted. You take it, you start this train leaving the station, you're going to be seeing punishment come your way too. Okay, so in addition to sexual exploitation of minors, we have electronically furnishing obscene material to minors. And it's just another way to be able to prosecute for the creation, the retention, the sending of these types of messages. If you take it, if you send it, if you get it and hold on to it, or if you forward it to 1, 5, 15, or 50, you get prosecuted. Also, computer or electronic pornography all falls under this same type of behavior that, falls under rule number 4 of don't be stupid. So, are there exceptions to these rules? I mean, you come in, I am prosecuting you. You are going to be the best defense attorney that was ever created. You're going to be F. Lee Bailey standing in that courtroom, and your defense is going to be, but I took the pictures from my boyfriend or girlfriend. I thought my friends would find it funny. Everybody forwards these pictures. No. None of those are going to be legal defenses to any of the statutes I just laid out. But let's talk about what the penalties are, because if you're prosecuted as a juvenile, this could actually mean probation, going to a youth detention center. It could mean fines, probation, community service, all of which you sit there and think, gosh, all I was doing was just sending that one picture. Or I really thought my friends would think it was funny. But that's only if you're being prosecuted as a juvenile. You guys are juniors and seniors, so you're on the precipice of being legal adults. When an adult teen, and by the way, even though you are a teen, you can be prosecuted as an adult, is convicted of a sexting crime, the penalties are more severe. From 1 year in jail, depending on the statute, or no less than 5 nor more than 20 years in prison. You really want me arguing that you need to go to prison for 1 to 20? Because you sent, created, retained, or further disseminated this stuff? Oh, by the way, fines ranging from $5,000 up to $100,000. And I'm going to guess the only people in here that have $100,000 at their disposal are going to be the trust fund babies that aren't going to have to go to college or get a job. But let's talk about the other legal consequences. Civilly, and I mean in a case where someone can sue you and take your house, that is your house flying away. Last year, in October of 2014, the Georgia Court of Appeals made a pretty landmark decision, and they said that If you create a fake profile, if you falsely put up someone's information, if you post too personal of information via electronic means, maybe on a social media website, the opinion did not limit it, Vine, Snapchat, Twitter, whatever, that you can be sued and your parents can be sued. And when someone takes a judgment against you, they take what you own to satisfy that judgment. You think about what you are doing and whether or not it is going to endanger the roof over your head. Now let me ask you guys a question. I have talked this entire time, and I have no idea who in here has a cell phone. And if you would, raise your hand for me so I got an idea of who I'm talking to. Tablets or laptops? Go ahead and raise your hands. Okay. Everybody with their hand up. Did you get the picture? You know. All right, here's the deal. You can go ahead and put them down. Here's what we're going to do. I need everyone to exit out of this side of the auditorium at the completion of this presentation. We have it set up out back. We are going to do cell phone dumps for everyone who is holding an electronic device. Yeah. Does anyone in here have a sinking feeling in the pit of their stomach right now? Because I will tell you, it also includes what you're holding in your lockers and in the classrooms. If you have a sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach, you are the ones I have been talking to while I've been here. And I am going to make a deal with you. Here's my deal. I do these cell phone dumps. I get date and time stamps on exactly when information has been deleted. You go in by 6 o'clock today on your tablet, on your cell phone, on your laptop. You delete every bit of information that should not be on there and do not put anything else new. I will not prosecute you. Now, who's the best district attorney on the face of the planet? Yeah? Here's the deal. You don't delete it, and I get a hold of your cell phone, your tablet, or your laptop, I will prosecute you for each individual image that you possess or that you deleted after 6 o'clock today's date. Deal? All right, let's try this again. 1, 2, 3. Deal? Yeah. Excellent. All right. So, I'm going to make a real short statement here. We are almost done. If you have been doing this, if you have gotten caught up in this, do not complain about the drama that your actions created. You have to eat it, you have to deal with it, and do better. And choose carefully, because the decisions that you make today will determine what you have and what you will be tomorrow. My last quote, Dr. Seuss. I tell this one to my kids. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know, and you dare the one who will decide where you go. You hand your dignity over in a box, in a text message, in an IM. You are giving that person the ability to have leverage over you. I want to thank you guys so much. It has been a privilege to be here today.
All right, folks, listen up real quick before we let you go. I hope that you learned something very important. It's very important that you realize that the adults in the building, the teachers, administration, the district attorney, that we care about you. We want you to be safe. Make good decisions. All right, go back to class. Thank you.